How you doing? Welcome to the long-awaited Groot buff. Well, technically no. This is just my buff concept of Groot. There's a lot of people that want Groot to get buff. That's including me. I would say Groot is probably one of the worst champions in the game. So I came up with this buff concept of, can we buff certain champions to make him the best champions in the game? So why not start with Groot? So disclaimer, this is not how Kabam is going to buff the champion. Very likely not. There's almost zero chance of that happening. If you're counting on that my buff concept that will be Kabam's the way Kabam's gonna buff the champions, certain champions like Groot. Good luck on that. This is just my idea, my buff concept. So how can we make Groot the best champion in the game if he gets a buff? So a lot of people think she needs an overhaul buff. I think it just needs a tune-up buff to make him really, really good. And he has the utility, he has the foundation, but he just doesn't hit very hard. So what can we do? What can we do to give him to make him a good buff? What if he increases attack by 500%, right? That that will put him at Cosmic Ghost Rider damage level. I think Cosmic Ghost Rider will still hit harder if you know how to optimize his damage. I mean, but technically, you're not gonna be able to play Cosmic Ghost Rider perfectly all the time. So having said that, I think if you don't, like I mentioned, if you don't know how to optimize Cosmic Ghost Rider's damage, a Groot will actually hit harder with 500% increased attack. So he's definitely gonna hit harder than Hercules. That's for sure. So increasing his attack by 500% will make him a really good champion. Just that alone. Okay, what else can we do to buff him? When it comes to his physiologically, so instead of be able to shrug off debuffs 55% faster, why not make it 90% faster? Okay, I thought about 100%, but that seems broken. So 90% is more realistic. So at 90%, be able to shrug off debuffs 90% faster is basically going to be stun immune with Limber. What else? He's nearly immune to damage over time because he's gonna shrug it off right away. And like nodes where opponents throw weakness debuff on you, or some champions that can throw weakness debuff on you, he's gonna be able to shrug it off right away. He's gonna still hit pretty hard on those nodes or those champions that throws a weakness debuff on you. So with those two buff concept alone, he's going to be the best cosmic champion in the game without a doubt. Just think about it. He's got regen. He has physical resistance. He's gonna hit close to Cosmic Ghost Rider damage level. He's practically stun immune with Limber Mastery. He's gonna be nearly immune to damage over time. I mean, he's gonna be pretty OP with just that buff concept. He's gonna be the best tune-up buff in the game without a doubt if they had that concept. Very simple buff they could do for Groot. But this is not about making Groot the best cosmic champion in the game. This is making the buff concept is to make Groot the best champion in the game. How can we make him the best champion in the game? So instead of, it comes to his physical resistance at max sig, it's 70%. So instead of 70% at max sig, that should be 100% at max sig to gain physical resistance when he gains one of those gentle nature buffs. And they should be permanent. They should be permanent max stack 20. So once he gets to 20 of them, that's going to be over 5,000 physical resistance. Keep in mind, this is a 6-star rank 1. So over 5,000 physical resistance, that's going to make him so tanky. Plus he has his regen. So his regen on his SP2, let's double that. Double the regen. It's not going to be, quite as good as King Groot's regen ability, but it's going to be pretty close if they double his SP2 regen. So it's going to be so tanky. Wow, imagine that buff concept. I mean, physical resistant, he's going to be so tanky, over 5,000 physical resistant at max stack of 20. He's going to have the near Cosmic Ghost Rider damage level. He's going to be nearly immune to damage over time. He's going to be immune to stun immune with Limber. You're going to have insane regen on SP2. That will make him the best champion in the game. What are your thoughts on that? So the idea of him getting increasing his stack by 500% is not that difficult to think about, but how to I don't know the right word, how to implement it in the game. How can we make that in the game? So you see here, he gets a fury buff when he throws a gentle nature. I think it increases base attack just below 25%. So let's just say he gets a max stack, a permanent one similar to Black Bolt, max stack of 20. So that would be close to 500% increase attack. And then when it comes to his cruelty buff, he also gains a permanent cruelty buff, similar to Black Bolt, and then a max stack of 20. So that would be over 2,000 with a 6-star rank 1. So with that, it's actually going to be more than 500% attack increase if you think about it at max stack 20. That's going to make him really hard. Of course, this is going to be beneficial for him in longer fights for sure. It's also when it comes to his physical resistance. But that's going to make him hit really hard. And it comes to SP3. So instead of increasing it by 500%, I was just thinking about let's say it'll be modified as well as it'll be critical bleeds when it comes to SP3, and it's going to scale based on obviously critical damage. So that could easily be more than 500%. That can increase his attack by 10 times, up to 10 times, if not more. Actually, if they would be modified as well as critical bleeds, as well as increased based on critical damage, how high your critical damage is. So that could be really serious damage in this SP3. So another way they can buff him, which I don't like, what Kabam could do, most likely what Kabam will do is instead of having permanent buffs like Black Bolt, they're gonna basically be able to, when it comes to his fury buffs and his cruelty buffs, they can refresh his fury buffs or his cruelty buffs when he throws a heavy attack. I really don't like that concept because they're making it to make them hit harder. They make him play. They make his play style harder. I don't like that concept at all. But that's another way they can buff him. Just refresh his buffs by just throwing a heavy attack. Technically, that can actually surpass 20 if you somehow know how to play him optimally and maybe certain fights. But I'd rather have him have a max stack of 20 and be permanent. That's for me. I think I would rather have that buff. So what do you think of this buff concept? Just think about it. Imagine if his attack is increased by 500%. That would be close to Cosmic Ghost Rider level damage. And then if you can shrug off debuffs by nearly 90%, that will make him nearly stun immune and nearly immune to, basically stun immune with Limber and nearly immune to damage over time. That's going to make him so OP. And then, double the regen on his SP2. And as well as increases permanent physical resistance. That can make it stack up to 5,000 physical resistance. That'll make him so tanky. It's going to hit so hard. It's going to be so OP with that buff concept. What are your thoughts on my buff concept? What do you think about Groot getting a buff? I really hope that he does get a buff. Of course, Kabam's not going to probably choose my idea. I just think that, if he does get a buff, it can be really, really good because he has the foundation for it. If he just gets a tune-up buff, he's going to be a pretty good champion in my opinion. What are your thoughts about the Groot buff? Thank you.